Good morning, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Pam from Old Hippie Homesteader. Welcome to our channel. Today, I'm going to be recanning the number 10 cans, the big cans, like restaurant supply cans. Yesterday, I was doing some caregiver duties for my mother, and I went into a store called Smart and Final. Now, Smart and Final is here in California. They're kind of like Price and Pride and Cash and Carry. They're like a restaurant supply store that's open to the public. So they had fruit cocktail marked down to $5. They had cranberry sauce, $5, and a large container of, I think it was sweet relish, marked down. I'm thinking about the same. I don't have the receipt in front of me. Now, it's okay to recan number 10 cans. It's okay. You don't have to fill your kitchen with tons and tons of stuff and grow all this stuff. You don't have to do that. If you want to add to your pantry, it's okay to recan number 10 cans. But you have to do it in the same way you would if you were making it from scratch. You can't have any shortcuts. Now, for me personally, I do not recan anything that needs to be pressure cooked or pressure canned. I don't do that. Now, if there's people out there that do recan things that need to be pressure canned, kudos to you. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But since these items I'm going to recan today only take hot bath, I've done it before, and our orchard did not produce this year. Normally I make my own fruit cocktail. I make my own cranberry sauce from cranberries I get at the store. I make my own relish, my own pickles. I do all that. But when I see a way I can shortcut it, I do it. I'm the queen of shortcut. I am a multitasker and I do so many things. I don't have time to go to the store, buy all the peaches, the pears, the cherries, all that stuff, cut them up, plus make a simple syrup. I don't have that in me anymore. I don't have that time. And really, who has the time anymore? And I don't have the extra money to be doing that. If I bought all those ingredients, it would cost me more than $5 for a number 10 can. So it's just the two of us. So, and I'm down to only 2 pints in my pantry for fruit cocktail. We would have run out this year. So, and with the cranberry sauce, I could go buy cranberries, but for $5, when a bag costs like 3 or 4 and a number 10 can cost me $5, you bet I'm going to recant it. So you have to follow the same instructions that you would do if you were doing it from scratch, guys. It's the same amount of, sanitary precautions. It's, you still have to sanitize your jars. You have to use the same time that you normally would if you were to can it, from scratch. You don't make any shortcuts in that. The only shortcut with this is I don't have to cut it all up. I don't have to cook it. I don't have to cook it down. I don't have to, put sugar in it for simple syrup. It saves me so much time. And this way, when you buy the number 10 cans, you're also adding to your pantry. There's no homestead rule or no canning rule that says you must cook everything from scratch. No, don't go there, because I don't do that. I'm a rebel canner, first of all, and there's a lot of things that I can that it's not FDA approved. I don't care. I've been canning for, like 45 years. We've never, ever had a problem with any of my canning. If you people that are watching this have a problem with recanning number 10 cans, hey, that's okay. I understand it. I understand. And if you're a new canner and you really just don't understand, then maybe just watch and maybe, don't do it this time or something. But for me, that's what I'm doing today. So I have my jars out they're all sterilized. They're all ready to go. So what I do with the fruit cocktail is I drain it. I drain all the juice. You know, I pour it in a big container. I let the juice drain. And I then get my big ladle and I scoop the fruit in the jars. I want to make everything even. There's nothing worse than opening a jar of fruit cocktail that has like 80% syrup and a couple pieces of fruit. I want all my jars to have equal amounts of the same fruit. And I even go as far as having the equal amounts of cherries. I mean, why would you open up a jar that has like 15 cherries and another jar doesn't have any? So I try to make everything even. And, but this time, instead of putting it in pints, I'm going to put it in quart jars because we do go through a lot of fruit cocktail. We really like fruit cocktail. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'm going to be doing all 3 of the items. So you guys will be getting like 3 videos in one. Like you're so excited with that. So anyway, come with me into the kitchen and let me show you how I get this going. And the key to this is fill your pantry. And so you'll always have food that your family likes. You'll have it on hand. Okay. If you live in an apartment, this is perfect. You don't have to have all the fruit trees and, you know, grow all the fruits and vegetables and all that stuff. This is perfect. This is perfect if you don't have fruit trees. I mean, you know, who doesn't want to have a beautiful supply of fruit cocktail or a beautiful supply of cranberry sauce or, you know, relish, you know? So these 3 items are good to recan. And so I hope you like it. And yeah, hope it gives you some ideas, you know, fill that pantry. The main idea is to fill that pantry and keep your family fed. Okay, guys? So let's go out into the kitchen. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I want to show you the use by date. It says September 1st, 2026, and it's the same date on all 3 items. Okay? So they didn't mark it down because it was close to expiring, nothing like that. I don't know why. Maybe it just wasn't selling and they needed to move it off the shelf. So that's the first thing that I noticed. Okay, so I removed the lid. Now I'm going to drain it. I'm going to keep the fruit separate from the simple syrup. And this one here says it's in heavy syrup. Okay, so I'm letting it drain. And of course, all the cherries were at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be using quart jars, like I said, for the fruit cocktail. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start ladling it into the jar. Okay, got my ladle. I'm going to try not to grab any cherries. I like to do those separate. Whoops, there's a bunch of cherries. Well, okay, there's one. This looks like it's going to be 3 quart jars. Oops, look at that. There's a stem. Third one. I want to get every piece of fruit. There we go. There's a few pieces left over. I think I'll put those back here. Now we have the juice, and I'm going to be pouring it equally over the quart jars. You don't want to go above the fill line. For some reason, I usually have syrup left over. Make sure you debubble. See that? Get all that juice down in there. I use a wooden knife. Okay, so that gives a little bit more space. See that? You see that left over? There's quite a bit of juice left over. So I'm going to set it aside. Now I'm going to wipe the rim. You want to wipe the rim because if you don't wipe the rim, it won't seal. So I'm going to wipe the rim. I'm going to put the seals and the lid on, and then we're going to move to the relish and the cranberry sauce. Okay, so I think I figured out why they were marked down this relish. I couldn't get the lid off. We had to use like a crowbar to get the lid off. So that might be the reason why they were getting rid of this. And this is good till April 2026. So I'm going to pour this in a jar. Now, I'm not going to keep this container. This container is plastic. And I try not to use plastic. So I'm going to put the relish in the jar. Now you're wondering, why don't you just scoop it right out of the jar? Well, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I would like to see if there's any stems or, anything in this relish. See that? Okay. There we go. Okay. Now for the relish, I'm going to be putting it in pint-sized jars. And make sure you clean your utensils and the stuff, your tools that you're going to use. Make sure you clean it after every batch of whatever you do. Okay? Okay. All right. So I'm going to gently get it out of here, put it into the jar. And when I write on the label, I always write recanned. So that gives me, that lets me know that this used to be a number 10 can. Okay, so I got 9 pints of sweet relish. Now I'm going to wipe the rim off. I'm going to put the seal and the ring on, and we're going to move on to the cranberry sauce. Okay, so I got it all ready. Everything's been washed, so there's no transfer of food. Now this is the cranberry sauce. Now I do this a little differently. I use a smaller spoon. That way I can stuff it into the jar really nicely because it goes right in here. Okay. And I push that down. There we go. I'm going to have to use the debubbler, but I'll do that when we're done. Okay. Okay, so let me get this all done. Okay, so I got 6 pints of the cranberry sauce. So now I'm going to prepare to hot bath them. Okay, so I now use a steam canner instead of doing the hot bath. The number one reason why I changed was because the hot bath takes so much water, and we are always in a drought up here, and this only takes about that much water. Okay, so you put the water in so it does not go over the holes. It's got a gauge like a pressure canner. You find your elevation and you hold it there the same amount of time you would normally use your hot bath. Okay, and it's got a little hole for steam that goes back away from you. Now, most of these things can be canned in the same amount of time. Okay, so the cranberry sauce takes 25 minutes in the hot bath. The relish takes 10 minutes in the hot bath. And the fruit cocktail, if it was pints, it would take 20 minutes. But since I'm doing quarts, it's going to take 25. So I'm going to get this started. I'm going to turn it on. And because the water is cold and my fruit cocktail is cold, they're going in together. You do cold, cold, or hot, hot. And since there's no reason to heat this up, it's going to be cold. So I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to let it get up to pressure. That's right up here. And then I'm going to turn it down to medium. And I'm going to let it go for 25 minutes. When I get everything canned, I'll be back to show you. So here's the reason that I always dump the fruit out. This giant pit was in the fruit cocktail. Can you imagine biting down on that? Look at the size of that sucker. That thing is huge. Oh my gosh. So that's why you always dump the food that you're going to recan. You always dump it out and you look through it. Holy cow. Okay, everything's done. Make sure you write recan on the top, just so you won't accidentally give it away as a gift and they think that you canned it or whatever. Okay? And I've got 3 more jars of relish in the steamer right now. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this helps you add to your pantry. Have an awesome day. Watch your surroundings, guys. Peace out.